Tacoma Dome for Game 2 of this first-round Western Conference battle. The Sonics beat the Lakers 2 nights ago. Game 2 coming up. Game 2 of our doubleheader here on NBC next.
NBA on NBC is brought to you by Ice Brewed Ice House. Ice brewed so there's never any watered-down taste. By Reebok. Come see how the game is played on Planet Reebok. And by Schick Tracer. It traces every curve on your face.
And welcome back to the Tacoma Dome. Here are the starting lineup for Game 2 of this playoff series. First of all, for the visiting Los Angeles Lakers in the backcourt, a couple of left-handers, Nick Van Exel and Anthony Peeler. Up front for Los Angeles, Vlade Divac at 7'1" in the middle. He is flanked by Cedric Ceballos and Eldon Campbell. The head coach in his first season in Los Angeles is Del Harris. Meanwhile, for the Seattle SuperSonics, here is the starting lineup for the home team. In the backcourt, Gary Payton and the veteran Nate McMillan. Up front, Irvin Johnson is in the middle. Detlef Schrempf and Sean Kemp are at the forwards. And the head coach of the SuperSonics is George Karl.
Ladies and gentlemen, for this afternoon's honorary ball toss.
Game 1 played here on Thursday night was won by Seattle, 96-71. Sean Kemp had a good night, but the story, Steve Jones, in this game was the lack of production out of Cedric Ceballos.
They were able to keep Ceballos out of the ball game. You can expect him to get his hands on the ball a lot more, but the biggest thing to look for is the way that the Lakers handled the double team on the post. Whether they're able to get weak side cutters going to the basket, or are they going to be stuck out on the perimeter again? This is a tough place to shoot in, and the Lakers really saw evidence of that in Game 1.
Nick Van Exel was the only Laker to have a good ball game, and his ball game was 29 points, but he had just 1 assist. That's very un-Van Exel-like.
It is, but because they closed down the middle, they had no people cutting, all of his passes came back out on the outside, and there were very few balls made, period. You go Van Exel 29, and then you see a lot of twos.
During the regular season, the Lakers beat the Sonics 4 out of 5, but the last 2 games have not only been Seattle victories, but convincing victories for the Sonics.
And that has to be a concern for Del Harris, that all the other games were very close. Then in the last meeting of the season, they were down by 30 at one point. They come into this ball game, and they were struggling uphill. They closed, got within 3, and then fell totally dead in the water, ended up with a 71-point ball game. I know Del Harris is a great tactician. He will make the adjustment because he's adjusted his dressing. You know, he didn't dress that way when he was in Milwaukee.
There's Eldon Campbell, and there's Del Harris.
He never had a tie like that in Milwaukee.
4+ seasons with the Milwaukee Bucks, 4 years as head coach of the Houston Rockets, took the Rockets to the NBA Championship Series, 1 season losing in 6 to the Boston Celtics. The opening tap goes to the Lakers. Dan Crawford, Mike Mathis, Jim Clark are the officials for this Game 2 matchup. Here's the double team to Divac. And the Lakers try to swing it. Campbell.
There's your X factor right there. If the lights are on for Eldon Campbell, he can be monstrous down on the low block. He scored his first shot in Game 1 and then could not get the ball in, so he's off to a quick start. We'll see if he can follow up.
Here's Sean Kemp, and it's stripped away out of bounds. Seattle basketball. Sean Kemp had a monster game. Rebound by Peeler. Ceballos lost it down the lane, recovered, and Campbell has 4 points. Eldon Campbell in his 5th season out of Clemson. Payton to the baseline. Payton from outside, got it.
Payton Payton did not have a good offensive night in game one, and I'm sure he's going to be more active in this ball game, trying to make some things happen at the offensive end. So that jump shot got his confidence started early.
Keeler. And Ceballos follows up, finds Keeler inside.
The Lakers have scored 3 inside hoops already. That's more than they scored in the entire game against the Sonic defense.
Payton, nice pass to Schrempf. And back come the Lakers. The double team to Divac. Back outside, and the Lakers swing it. Keeler. Divac for the hook. Vlade Divac.
One other thing they're doing in this afternoon's game, making an extra pass. They were throwing the ball in. When it came back out, first shot went up. Their percentage reflects that. They're shooting 80% here early. Now they double themselves, and the Sonics got to start moving the ball and moving bodies around.
Sean Kemp with the 2. Lakers lead it 8-4 with 9:15 to play here in the first. This can be a noisy arena.
It will be a noisy arena before this one's done.
Keeler lost it. Here comes Payton. Tied up by Van Exel. Payton looking for the ball, didn't get it. Ceballos with the lob. And a nice pass from Campbell to Vlade Divac. Looks like a different Laker team from the one that was blown out here 2 nights ago.
The playoffs are about adjustments. In game one, they weren't making the extra pass. Now they're making it, and they're getting the high percentage shot.
There's a big rejection by Eldon Campbell. Let's go back down to the other end and watch the Lakers move the ball.
Pass the ball, and you will get open. And Eldon Campbell, who's off to a good start, showing some unselfish play, drops it in for Vlade Divac, who's actually one of the best passing centers out of the post. They've got 2 of them in Divac and Sambu.
At the other end of the floor, Campbell with a big block. Urban Johnson, his first personal foul of the game. Divac's going to take it and hit it. 12-4 Lakers.
Now the Lakers are double teaming, and it's up to the Sonics to make an adjustment.
Kemp. Tap no good. Rebound off. Loose ball. Seattle has it. Kemp lost it in the lane. And a smiling Nick Van Exel comes back with it. Keeler. And Divac. Bad pass. Sonics come back with it. Payton. And Ceballos with the board. And Kemp and Divac tied up at the other end. Meanwhile, jump shot no good. Here come the Sonics. Payton.
We've seen a lot of mishandles and bobbles of the basketball by the Sonics here early. You would think that they are the team that's lost the game. They seem to be more edgy than the Los Angeles Lakers at this point. George Karl calls a timeout, wants to try to settle his team down.
7:12 to play first quarter. Lakers lead at 12-4. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
Michael Jordan.
Inspired by the fact that Del Harris threatened to replace him in the starting lineup with Sam Bowie. The reason Harris didn't, Bowie is suffering from the flu along with several key members of this team. Vlade Divac, Eddie Jones still weakened from the flu. Also, Nick Van Exel did not practice yesterday. He's playing with some back spasms. He told me he's in some pain. You saw him put the t-shirt on till just before he started playing to keep that back warm. But he's going to have to see some significant minutes because they don't have a backup point guard. So Dale 3 gone for the season, Greg.
All right, Hannah. You see how the Lakers have been tough inside. Meanwhile, Gary Payton pops from outside.
The Lakers shot 35% in game one. You're not going to win in the playoffs shooting that quarter. That's one of the reasons they're making the extra pass, trying to stay in a high percentage area. Divac this time one-on-one.
Irvin Johnson with the rebound. Here comes McMillan. Shrimp wide open for three. 6.5 to play in the first. The Lakers lead is 3 at 12-9.
See if Shrimp comes against Campbell. He goes to the baseline and gets a foul. So the defense is not reacting quite as quickly as it did in game one. Shrimp, or whoever that off guard was, playing that position immediately when the ball went inside, dropped down in game one. They let Eldon Campbell wheel baseline, and Irvin Johnson picked up another foul.
You talked about adjustments and how they're made all the time in this game, and one of the quick ones we see is the Lakers swinging the ball around the outside away from the double team.
They're getting the ball away from the double team, and they're willing to make the extra pass, and they're being more aware of where the double team is coming from.
Ceballos works his way inside, and Kemp comes off with the board. Payton looking for room to drive and draws the foul down the lane from Van Exel.
That was on number 9, Nick Van Exel.
Payton had a 3-for-11 ball game in game one. He's got that snarl on his face like he's going to guarantee it's going to happen this afternoon.
8.6 assists in that game one. But what a season Gary Payton has had.
He has improved in all areas of play, but the greatest improvement has been in his attitude and the way that he handles himself out on the court, and particularly in adverse situations, he's much more in control.
Has assumed that leadership role on this team.
He has, and I think he relishes being the guy to make it happen.
Cedric Ceballos.
Ceballos for 3 points. 3 points, Ceballos.
With that three, he exceeds all the points that he scored in game one. What a nightmare of a night Ceballos had, going 1 for 10 from the floor here Thursday night.
And their small forward was a minus for them in game one.
Nate McMillan. Keeler went for the steal, didn't get it. McMillan converted. 15-12 Seattle. Lakers brought their shooting eye with them to the arena today.
They have their shooting eye because now they know what the defense is doing, and they're playing with a great deal more composure. The Sonics, on the other hand, now have to make their adjustment to having the ball double teamed on the post. Perkins.
Sam Perkins in the game, misses the three. Keeler. And Kemp comes away with it. Here come the Sonics on the move. McMillan looking for 2 in a row, and got 2 in a row. Lakers 17, Seattle 14, with 4:20 to play here in the first period. And Del Harris says timeout. Go back in time, Steve.
The reason for this jump shot, notice how wide open Peeler is. He has plenty of time to see where the defense is coming from.
17-14. Lakers by 3, 4:18 to play in the first. We're coming back to the Tacoma Dome in just a moment.
The adjustment that the Los Angeles Lakers make, they identify Detlef Shrimp right here. And when the ball comes into the post and we let it clear, you'll see Detlef Shrimp coming. Vlade Divac knows it. Now he knows where it is, and Cedric Ceballos spots up for the 3 and gets himself off the mark. And, 1 of 2, he's way ahead of one of...
He's already ahead of the game from game 1. .410 to play here in the first. Campbell doing some mean work on the inside for the Lakers early on. 19-14. Campbell has 6 points.
And the Sonics are trying to vary their double teaming tactics. In game 1, they went every single time. Whoever was on the post saw a double team. And they haven't done that, and it cost them, so they may have to come back to it as they look inside to John Kemp.
off the mark. And rebounded by the Lakers. Back to the other end, out of bounds, and here come the Sonics again.
Talk about solo coverage, and that's what happened in this Sean Kemp, Eldon Campbell matchup. And Kemp is a great leaper, but you got a guy that's got an elevator of his own in Eldon Campbell.
Trent fouled as he came across the lane. Eddie Jones is in the lineup now, number 25 for the Lakers. Jones, a 6'6" rookie from Temple.
Early success by Eddie Jones and the Lakers had a lot of people thinking that Eddie Jones might be a candidate for Rookie of the Year. Certainly he was a great surprise and a big part of the Lakers turnaround, but then he got hurt and has not really been able to regain that form.
Eldon Campbell drew the personal foul. Here's Eddie Jones. And now Sam Bowie on the floor.
It took a year for Detlef Schrempf to find himself as a Sonic, but he has had very quietly a spectacular year in an all-around category. He's got 5 points here early in the ball game.
19 points a game, over 6 rebounds, shooting 52% from the floor and 51% from the three. Campbell again on the inside. Eldon Campbell has 8. And the Lakers lead at 21-16. That foul looks like it's on Sam Bowie.
Sam Bowie is first.
And Detlef Schrempf goes to the bench.
Substitution for Seattle. Number 17, Vincent Askew.
Vincent Askew is on the floor for Seattle now, as is Kendall Gill, who had a big night here in Game 1.
Perkins doesn't spend as much time down on the post against the Lakers, but he can hurt them in there because of the long arms. Offensive foul over the top, Sean Kemp.
But they'll come the other way.
13 foul.
In Game 1, Kendall Gill came off of the bench for 17 points for Seattle, and it's what George Karl has been looking for from Gill.
Yes, and Kendall Gill, who had the clinical depression, is in the best frame of mind, and now that his jump shot is back, we may see same kind of ball game from him.
Van Exel, shot clock at 4, tough shot out of the corner, and Kemp comes away with it. Gill with a nice pass to Payton, and rejected by Jones. Stripped from behind, back come the Lakers. Van Exel for Ceballos, tried the reverse, and he drew the foul from Perkins.
Quicker to the ball would be the best way to describe the Laker defense. They get a good pass inside. Watch Eddie Jones get off of his feet to knock that one away, and then they just push it hard the other way with Van Exel and Ceballos picks up the personal foul against Sam Perkins' first.
Ceballos missed the first. Game 1, Ceballos, 2 points on 1 for 10 shooting, 5 rebounds, no free throw attempts, and turned the ball over 5 times.
The three-point shooting of Ceballos, in fact, the jump shooting of Ceballos is a big improvement of his game. He was very reluctant early in his career to even attempt the jump shot, basically stayed down on the baseline, but he's expanded his game, and it's really helped the Lakers.
On the baseline, Kemp, and Kemp will go to the line. You can't say it enough, Steve. This Laker team, it's like night and day from the opening game of this series.
Del Harris went out and found his real team. Wherever the other team came from, he took them back. And it's obvious that the Lakers are ready to play and feel more confident about it. We could say the same thing about Mike Fratello's Cleveland Cavaliers. They found the Cavs and they won, so they have a series now between New York and the Cavs.
What a terrific game they put on today, and went into Madison Square Garden and took one of those first 2 of that series, and they get to go home now.
The idea as the visitor is to win 1. Put the pressure on the home team. That's what the Lakers are trying to do this afternoon.
Kemp has 4. Seattle trails by 4 with 2 minutes to play here in the first.
What the Sonic defense is designed to do is to force turnovers, force mistakes. The Lakers have yet to make those kinds of mistakes early.
Ceballos, another 3 for Cedric Ceballos.
With 3 points, Ceballos.
He has 7, and it's 25-18.
His head is bobbing, but it's been bobbing ever since he came out in the warm-up. He's been very loose and a very confident player. I'm sure he felt he was going to rebound from that 1-for-10 shooting, and he's done it early.
Kemp spins on the baseline. Not much to do about that. Lakers by 5. We'll give and go, and a steal by Kemp. Down the lane, off. Didn't fall for him. Here come the Lakers 4-on-3-on-2. Van Exel to Jones, and Perkins got a piece of it. Askew, Payton, Gill. And up ahead for Van Exel.
Some spectacular defensive play, and out of it, the Lakers finally get the break and an easy 2 for Van Exel. Kemp is gassed. He's winded right now, and he's trying to rest on offense and find out whether he's able to do it.
Kemp on the follow. Lottie for 3, and he hit it. The Lakers have 30 points. They scored 29 in the entire second half Thursday night.
They're a much more composed team. One other thing I think that the Lakers have done is adjust to this lighting in this building. As shooters the first time in, they had a real tough time.
Perkins out of the corner, doesn't fall, and what a first period for the Los Angeles Lakers. Eldon Campbell with 8, Cedric Ceballos with 7. The Lakers, blown out in game 1, have rebounded in style. They lead it 30-22. We're coming back to the Tacoma Dome for the second period as the NBA on NBC continues in just a moment.
This is the NBA on NBC.
During the regular season, Cedric Ceballos averaged more than 21.5 points a game, just 1 for 10 shooting 2 nights ago. And we asked head coach Del Harris about his star forward yesterday.
Cedric is a maverick. He plays his own game out there, and he'll bounce back. It's not like anybody has control of his movements out on the court. He plays very instinctively, and so Nick nor I really move him around. He'll find ways. It just wasn't a good game for him.
We can say that again. Kind of scary when you hear a coach say he doesn't have any control over his player out on the court.
Well, it is, but it also tells you that he understands his player's game and doesn't try to channel him. And that's why Ceballos has been able to respond.
Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, a pretty calm Coach Carl told his team that they were late on rotations. They need to be quicker there. They also need to be tougher and more physical posting up. But he reminded his team the tempo of this game is in our favor. Greg?
All right, Hannah. Lakers 65% from the field in the first quarter to 33 for Seattle. Kendall Gill.
Another quick block by Eddie Jones. So he's showing you that if he wasn't feeling well in game 1, he's a lot better.
Doing just fine today. That Campbell-Ceballos combination. Lottie Divac goes to work. Van Exel kicked it back out to no one. Here's Payton. On the drive, here's Payton. That Campbell-Ceballos combination combined for just 11 points in the opener. They already have 15 between them this afternoon.
The front line combined for just 22, and they have 26, so they've already outdone themselves.
And Sam Bowie gets a block and adds to that. 32-24 Lakers. Askew on the turnaround, it's not there. Bowie outlets for Van Exel.
Mistakes hurt the Lakers in game 1. And there's another mistake by Van Exel. That was not a forced error. So he's got to take better care of the ball, make better decisions.
steal by the Sonics is no surprise. For the third consecutive season, they led the NBA in steals.
They're great at forcing mistakes, and they're also better at reacting in the passing lane. Lakers really hot here early. No double teams. They had a double team every time the ball went inside.
Dan Exel had to put it up in a hurry. It didn't fall, and here's Kendall Gill. Perkins. And back outside. Will he be able to save it? He does. Shot clock is at 8. Askew. Rejected by Bowie. So the Lakers big in the block shot department today so far.
And they're long in Divac, Bowie, and Eldon Campbell, but also long in Eddie Jones.
Ceballos, another three.
Ceballos for 3 points. 3 points, Ceballos.
I guess the Maverick is loose. Sam Bowie has always been a great shot blocker, and they got that one brought right to him by Vincent Askew.
35-24 Lakers. Kemp.
The Lakers are showing double team, but it's not a hard double team because Kemp's been able to squeeze through it a couple times. If Divac is going to come over, they got to force Sean Kemp to stay in front of them.
Bowie. And Perkins with the rebound. Seattle back in a hurry. Kendall Gill on the drive. Went right around Eddie Jones. Kendall Gill's first basket of the day. 35-28.
That last defensive stand by Eddie Jones, he showed a little weakness and fatigue because his feet were stuck in mud. He didn't react to Gill's drive at all.
Divac across the lane with the scoop. And Kemp with another board. And brings it back, leads for Askew. Askew. Sean Kemp with the follow. Sean Kemp with 12 and beginning to assert himself on the baseline. And Del Harris wants a 20-second timeout.
The Sonics are known for open court play and a slashing, driving team. Eddie Jones reaching, and it's a better reach by Kendall Gill to get the hoop. Vincent Askew on the drive, and the guy that's bringing them back, Sean Kemp over the top.
Shaq, Sir Charles, and Michael, a blockbuster triple header Sunday on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. By Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
Just a few short moments ago, the Lakers enjoyed an 11-point lead, but the Sonics have run off 6 straight points to cut the deficit to 5 with 7:45 to play now here in the first half.
It's been a nice run, and they now affords them a chance to rest Sean Kemp.
Divac fails to the hook, and here come the Sonics looking for more. Gill. Campbell back onto the floor for the Lakers has the rebound. Lakers with Ceballos, Eddie Jones, Divac, Van Exel, and Eldon Campbell.
Here's a matchup. Van Exel ought to exploit Vincent Askew guarding him. He should look for penetration anytime he has the ball because he's going to be able to break him down, get to the basket. Illegal defense.
That's the first of the day called against Seattle.
Is first.
That's not a foul. It's an illegal D. George Karl looks like.
It's an illegal defense call. Seattle, their first offense for a warning.
They like a lot of noise here in Tacoma.
They keep noise here in the House of Wood. They brought some clickers in, so I expect it to be a lot noisier, particularly if the Sonics are able to get on top and push their lead. Miller now guarding Van Exel. Offensive foul, Campbell.
Let's take a look.
Good position defense, and then at the last minute, the elbow, and we have a break.
You're watching the NBA on NBC.
You have a choice. You can watch or you can rebound. Understand that the ball won't come to you. You got to go get it. You got to want it more than anyone else on the court. It takes heart. It takes sacrifice. It takes the willingness to do whatever your team needs, because you cannot win without the ball.
When the Dream Master gets inside your mind,
Here I come.
the danger begins. Gotcha. NBC's Sequest, an all-new episode Sunday.
Eldon Campbell with 8 points, 4 out of 4 from the floor, but he's going to take a seat having drawn his third personal foul. Meanwhile, Anna Storm told us during that timeout, George Karl says no more double team on Vlade. The double team worked to perfection for Seattle in game 1, but the Lakers have solved that here, so this is yet another adjustment, Steve.
It is the game within a game, and the energy that it takes for the defense to rotate and be around in front of the shooters isn't there for George Karl's satisfaction. He doesn't like seeing the three-point field goal go in, so he said, stay at home.
Shrimp. And that'll be a loose ball foul against Vincent Askew.
They call Kendall Gill. Both of them came over the back, but they get Kendall Gill coming over the top trying to keep that ball alive. Karl is not happy with their offensive shot selection and their patience. They'll try to improve on that in the next 6:30.
Van Exel for 3. The Lakers are now 5 for 8 from three-point land. They were 4 for 28 in all of game 1.
And notice that their defensive attitude has changed. They're up, they're pressuring the ball, they're much more responsive and active because they got the ball going in. They have an idea of how to control the Sonics. Pressure, shot clock against the Sonics and Perkins.
Van Exel coming over to help out, knock the ball out of bounds. 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
In game 1, the Lakers were a step slow and more than $1 late, and it ended up costing them. Today, they're up, they're aware, they're making it tough for the Sonics to get any business done.
Shrimp doesn't get the bounce. The follow by Askew is no good, and the save by the Lakers. Lakers by 8. They have the ball coming up on 5.5 to play here in the first half. Nice pass to Vlade Divac, and he's fouled from behind. He'll go to the line. You know, Del Harris told us yesterday that despite the game 1 blowout, he is not depressed because as poorly as his team played, they were in that game until 4 minutes to go in the third.
And Van Exel was the guy that brought them back. They got within 3, 58 to 55, and then went dead in the water. Van Exel was the only player able to score the ball, but they've got balance in this ball game. They've got their front line in it. Van Exel hasn't had to look to score nearly as much here early in the ball game. Peeler has got his shooting touch back, so the Lakers are the real Lakers that won 48 games and had everybody concerned about matching up with them in the first round.
Divac goes 1 for 2. The Lakers in their 18th playoff in 19 years. They missed out last year. Perkins to Askew.
Askew was a much better player a year ago and kind of got full of himself and how good he could be, and hasn't really responded. He was late in getting into the camp, even walked out on a practice. So this is a guy that's got to remember who Vincent Askew really is.
Cedric Ceballos with another jump shot. He has 12, 41-32. George Lynch is on the floor for the Lakers. Second-year man out of North Carolina. He's wearing number 30 and is guarding Detlef Schrempf right here.
The Sonics can find seams and defenses, and Sam Perkins is not only a good shooter, but a pretty good passer, and right at the basket with Vincent Askew for an easy score. They need more of those types of plays. Gary Payton comes back in the game. Payton
with the ball, looking for a way around Van Exel.
Let's see if they come to Sam Perkins on the post. He just took a look at the shot clock.
And this ball will go against the Lakers.
Loose ball foul number 12, Vlade Divac.
Vlade Divac draws the foul. That's number 2 on Divac.
Some guys have a tougher time finishing than others, and that's the storyline for Askew. He's been at point-blank range 4 or 5 times and only gotten 1 layup.
Shrimp. Out of bounds, Seattle. 4:22 to play in the half. 15 on the shot clock. Lakers lead it 41-32. Shrimp. Back outside, and Perkins saves it before it reaches the half-court line. Payton.
The Sonics don't have the poise and control that they had in game 1, and they are fighting the shot clock. Shot selection is very sketchy, and they find themselves down big. You look at the Lakers, they're now running the show, taking their time, getting almost any shot they want.
Sabalos missed that one. Sean Kemp will come back in at the next whistle. Askew.
There's Askew again, right at the rim, and he's got to be able to finish those shots. He's not been getting it done. Good pressure by Payton to keep Van Exel away from the ball.
Under 3.5 to play in the first quarter. Divac. And that will be a travel violation against Divac. Not a bad move by Vlade, though.
Vlade worked real hard to get that one, but shuffles his feet. You'll see Divac right here. Former teammate Perkins keeping him away from his best move, the hook across the middle, and he shuffles his feet. Askew comes out of the ball game. You know, you have finishers. You have guys like Sabalos who have that native instinct to get the ball in the basket, and then you have guys like Askew who have to be going perfect in order for everything to go well. He's not having a perfect day.
Kemp powers his way to the basket. Doesn't fall for him. Here come the Lakers. Van Exel had it stripped from behind. Fouled from behind by Gary Payton, who disagrees. We'll take time with 2:56 to play in the first half. 41-32 Lakers. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Till halftime report will bring you highlights of the surprise at Madison Square Garden. The Cavs somehow found a way to beat the Knicks. They did it 90-84, and that series is now even at a game apiece. We'll also get playoff reports from Utah, San Antonio, and Orlando. But right now, let's go back to the Tacoma Dome and rejoin Greg and the Snapper.
All right, Bob. 2:56 to play here in the first half, and right now let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Greg, there's so much pressure on this first-round team. In fact, you can feel the apprehension in the crowd now as they're trailing, and George Karl trying to give his team an emotional pep talk during that timeout. He said, come on, keep on playing. The tempo's still in our favor. Keep believing in yourselves. Do not get frustrated, because that's what he senses is happening to his team, Greg.
All right, Hannah, with last year's first-round loss to the Denver Nuggets, there is more than just a little pressure on the Seattle SuperSonics.
No, there's a ton. The town was very nervous about the first ball game. They know last year this team won both games at home and dropped the last 3. And the only way that they can have any kind of redemption at all is to get out of the first round and into the second and make an impact. Otherwise, this whole team crashes and burns.
Foul down underneath the basket. Payton. There is no foul. Sabalos called timeout before he went out of bounds. Seattle, in a real funk now, has missed 10 of its last 11 shots from the floor. So the clock is stopped with 2:29 to play here in the first half. Here's the Western Conference playoff picture as it stands now. San Antonio with a Game 1 victory over the Denver Nuggets. Seattle leads this series 1-0. Houston with a come-from-behind victory, or Utah with a come-from-behind victory over Houston. And Phoenix trounced the Portland Trailblazers last night.
All of the favorites won. Following game, we are the second game. We're seeing the underdog Lakers make adjustments, and they've had command of the first half of play. Can the Nuggets respond? Can the Trailblazers respond? Can the Rockets respond? That's going to be what we'll see in game 2 as we watch these teams adjust against each other.
Well, Tomorrow is a day packed with NBA playoff action. NBC Sports presents a triple header beginning at 12 noon Eastern Time with NBA Showtime. And then Shaq, Penny, and the Orlando Magic host the Boston Celtics. In Game 2, Steve and I will be in Phoenix. Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns will host the Portland Trailblazers. And then in prime time, Michael Jordan leads the Bulls into the Beehive to face Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, and the Charlotte Hornets. 3 great NBA playoff matchups tomorrow. NBA Showtime tips it off at noon Eastern here on NBC.
And Charlotte blew a golden chance, really, to get an edge and a leg up on the Chicago Bulls in overtime. They tightened up, couldn't score the basketball, and Jordan had a spectacular game, 48 points. They needed every single one of them to prevail, and now they have thrown it right back on the Hornets. We'll see if that young team can show any kind of resiliency tomorrow.
You and I will make the trek on down to Phoenix. Shall we bring Hannah with us?
We'll bring Hannah.
Let's bring Hannah. See if the Blazers can rally in Game 2 of that series. Under 2.5 to play, first half.
What the Sonics want to do in the final 2 minutes is get their defensive energy up, so that can have some impact on how they finish the half. If the Lakers are able to still move the ball, move people freely, they're going to feel that they're going to have great success in the second half of play.
Seattle has not scored in the last 3 minutes of play. They've only made one of their last 11 shots from the floor.
That's also a feature of playoff basketball, where you get stretches where your opponent goes dead in the water and you have a chance to get back in it. The Lakers have missed the last couple of possessions themselves, otherwise they could have a double-digit lead.
2 minutes remaining in the quarter, 2 minutes.
Seattle down 9, under 2 minutes to play in the first half.
Now you have to identify where's your best chance to score. It's not Nate McMillan. It should be Detlef Schrempf or Shawn Kemp at this stage of the game.
Seattle now with 1 out of their last 12 from the floor. Ceballos on the drive. Wild shot. McMillan has it. Payton out of bounds to Seattle.
In Game 1, they had controlled breaks, and they were able to finish. They haven't really been in a controlled situation where they've known where they could get a score in a break and cash. Trying to post up Payton against Van Exel.
And Payton with the basketball now across the lane, puts it up, no, tap no good. Scramble for the basketball. We're going to have about 8 guys involved in this jump ball.
Well, the one guy that was trying to avoid putting his hand in there was Gary Payton. He's got the broken ring finger on the left hand, so he's trying to kick it around, move it, and last player up is Nate McMillan. He was down at the bottom of the pile. I think Payton feels a little bit of urgency to try to break the scoring slump that they're in. Made a real tough try the last time, couldn't get it to go in.
Nate McMillan looking like he was the guy on the bottom of the pile. Nate's going to jump in against Vlade Divac.
Sonics got to think steal, and where Divac might tip the basketball, tips it back.
And that'll be Seattle basketball. Into the game, Sam Bowie for Del Harris to replace Divac. 1:01 remaining here in the first half.
This is a staggering number of points that both teams have scored here. 11-9 in the second quarter, so both teams have dropped off.
Kemp. Nope, that won't count. But he was fouled.
Foul number 31, Sam Bowie.
And Sam Bowie commits his second.
Excuse me, I took a point away from the Sonics. I shouldn't do that. They got 10 in the quarter. As tough as they've had and hard to come by, they need every single point. Kemp had it going early before he went out of the ball game, hasn't been able to get it back.
Perkins all alone from the top of the key, didn't get it away. Schrempf back outside, Shannon Perkins has it. Still plenty of time. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Gill, Perkins.
This is a confused team in a half-court set. Here this afternoon, they have demonstrated that they don't know where they want to go to get the ball scored, and they get a 3-second violation against the Sonics. George Karl has always said of his team, they're not crazy about playing in the half-court. So if you can slow them down, you can get mistakes out of them, and they have shown us this afternoon.
Sabalos, got it. Cedric Sabalos has 14 points, and the Lakers lead 43-32. Gill. Time running down. Detlef Schrempf for three. Got it and drew the foul.
This is good! Detlef Schrempf for 3 points. 3-point Schrempf.
Del Harris hates to see a momentum swing like that.
30. George Lynch, his second in the last.
They needed something like this to give them some life, and Karl is saying maybe that's the break that will get them going in the second half. Detlef Schrempf has a chance for a 4-point play.
2.3 to play in the half, and Schrempf gets his 4-point play. 43-36, full court pressure. Lynch throws it up at the buzzer, and it's way short.
Halftime with the score, Los Angeles.
Seattle was looking at a huge drought coming down the stretch. Detlef Schrempf wraps it up with a 4-point play, and at the break, the Lakers lead it 43-36. Coming up, Bob Costas and company in the studio. NBA Showtime. We'll take it away right after this.
Looking good. Facing with your car is a great idea.
Yeah, especially when it's my new Grand Am.
Well, you couldn't take my car. It doesn't have analog brakes or an airbag.
Or 150 horsepower. Your car couldn't keep up with me.
Man, this engine is really smooth.
What?
I said you're really starting to move.
Hey, where are you?
Sure, Gold MasterCard has at least a $5,000 credit line, so you can buy all kinds of things, but you can't buy time. Well, I don't know. You could buy plane tickets and fly across 5 time zones, and it'll be even earlier than when you left. But wherever you go, you won't have to waste your time looking for a great exchange rate, because with MasterCard, a great exchange rate is exactly what you'll get. So I guess Gold MasterCard really can buy you time. Just remember to set your watch back. Watch back. Now, how's that for a useful card? Gold MasterCard. It's more than a gold card. It's smart money. Look for your Gold MasterCard application and apply.
It's a perfect day in the travel industry. Or is it? If your 800 service goes down, it's like your business disappears. Your customers vanish. For travel agents and cruise lines, that could mean hundreds of customers a minute. This won't happen to Carnival Cruise Lines. They chose AT&T's 800 never miss a call guarantee, with features so reliable calls would be rerouted in less than a second, so their fun ships stay filled and their calls get through, guaranteed. AT&T, for the life of your business.
Give me 10 more good reps, man. Yeah, good. No, that's not it. I'll tell you what it is. Now give me one more. One more.
With 33% more carbos than Gatorade, it's Powerade.
Give me 10 more good reps, man.
An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. Up on a ridge he rested as he went along his way. Yippee-yi-yi-o, the ghost riders in the sky.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Halftime at the Tacoma Dome, Lakers trying to do what the Cavaliers did. Drubbed in Game 1, trying to come back and even the series on the road. They lead by 7, 43-36 at the half. Bob Costas with Julius Erving and Peter Bessie in New York. We'll hear from them in a moment. But let's start here with that early game at Madison Square Garden. Has to qualify as a big upset as the undermanned Portland Suns went on.
NBA playoffs on NBC.
Back in the Tacoma Dome, along with Steve Jones and Hannah Storm, I'm Greg Gumbel. The Lakers lead Seattle 43-36 at halftime. The Miller Lite halftime stats are some amazing numbers. The Lakers shooting 53% from the floor. The Sonics just 14 out of 50 for 28%. Eldon Campbell with 8 points to lead the way for the Los Angeles Lakers. But take a look at these numbers. 2 nights ago, the Lakers in three-point field goals, 4 for 28. Today they are 5 of 11, and Cedric Ceballos, who had just 2 points, has 14 today. Steve, what does George Karl say to a team that hit just one of its last 11 field goals in the first half and scored 4 points in the last 5.5 minutes of the half?
It was ugly. It was very ugly. They're not having nearly as much fun in there as we were having out here. What he's got to tell his team is let's identify where we can get a score and then have some patience in doing it. This team looks like they're out of control in the half-court set. They're trying to force the tempo of the game. It's not working. So they got to calm themselves down and look at the scoreboard and say, as bad as we've been, we're only down 7.
Yeah, it's a different story than what Game 1 was. 43-36, Lakers in the lead. Back for the start of the second half. Game 2 of this Western Conference playoff. Back at the Tacoma Dome for the start of the second half. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Greg, I checked in with both coaches. This is what George Karl told his team at halftime. He said, look, this is our first test of the playoffs. Hopefully, the first test of many. Do not panic here. But he said that his team has completely lost confidence on the offensive end. He said they got to get the winning game going, got to get some easy buckets and get that confidence back. As for Del Harris, he wasn't happy with what was happening in the second quarter. He wants his team to get into their offensive sets a little quicker, get some more points on the board in the second half.
All right, Hannah, there you see the leading scorers for the Lakers. Cedric Ceballos with 14. Vlade Divac has 10. Sean Kemp, 12 points and 9 rebounds in the first half. Sonics with the basketball as we get started.
Real key to being a good half-court team is identifying who can score the basketball. Sean Kemp still has a high degree of difficulty in his shot selection. That could have been an easier attempt. Came away with nothing to start the second half.
Vlade Divac came over to help out with the double team. Ceballos on the drive the reverse, lost it momentarily, and we're going the other way. Foul is on Divac.
Loose ball foul, number 12, Vlade Divac is third.
That's number 3 on Vlade. Eldon Campbell, remember, playing with 3.
Now Harris will at least have to keep watch on both of those guys. Campbell got off to a terrific start, was not around for much of the second quarter of play, and he was hurting the Sonics inside with his low post offense.
Shrimp for 3. Detlef Shrimp shot 51.4% from behind the three-point line during the regular season.
Shrimp comes out before the game and practices shooting nothing but three-point field goals. He knows he's going to get a chance to get them up and down.
Jump ball, Divac tied up.
The Lakers have won here at the Dome. Here in Tacoma, they know that they can win. They won in overtime and they won in regulation. Both of them close ball games, 108-105 and then 128-121. So
Van Exel with the foul on Payton. There's no basket on that play.
To finish the thought, they know how to handle this crowd and how they can get involved in it as Del Harris wants a 20-second timeout.
Here's the noise that the Seattle SuperSonics have been looking to create throughout the first half.
It's a funny thing that as we look in on Del Harris and he's talking about moving the ball and moving people around, that the crowd waits for the team and then they begin to respond, and once they get into the game, it has such a dramatic effect on the home team.
this could be a critical moment for the Lakers. We could see a very definitive mood swing in this game for the Sonics and for the Lakers as well.
There's no question. As good as the Lakers were in the first quarter, they weren't nearly that sharp in the second, and a team that was struggling is suddenly in the ball game due to some deep shooting by Detlef Schrempf, going one-on-one now.
Divac reached in, made the steal. Schrempf had to commit the foul.
Foul number 11, led by Schrempf. His first team.
Going one-on-one, and Divac is probably the best center in the NBA at making that move. You put the ball out there, his hands are quick enough to get to it, he'll slap it away.
Lakers trying to snap a 7-point Seattle run right now. Divac couldn't finish it. Lakers. Schrempf. And a loose ball foul on Anthony Peeler.
What Irvin Johnson gives this team is a live body, and he tries to throw himself around at both ends of the court on the boards, at the offensive and defensive board. Peeler pushed him, and that's where they call the foul against Anthony Peeler.
Schrempf for three. Detlef Schrempf hit a three-pointer with less than 3 seconds to play in the first half. Converted the free throw. It's been all Detlef here in the second half, and he is carrying the Sonics.
Someone needs to tell him that he can make that shot. He's been uncovered 3 times in a row.
The Laker lead is down to 1.
I love this game. Right here. This game here. I'm married to it.
The 1995 Toyota 4Runner. It's where civilization is headed. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Van Exel and the Lakers want to keep Gary Payton out of the middle, so they want to take him baseline here. Detlef Schrempf is going to pop here, and as you watch the play develop, you can see the double team is late. Payton is able to find him. This is the 3rd straight 3-point field goal in a row for Detlef Schrempf, 10 straight points.
Basic tenet of the game, identify where the shooter is and don't leave him alone. And there is a foul as Eldon Campbell takes it hard to the basket.
Even more so, the hot shooter. And so he gets a 4-point play to end the half, comes back, gets a 3, gets another 3, and in all 3 attempts, no one in his face. So now he's got to have pressure. He's got to have someone flying at him. Detlef Schrempf on a roll.
Detlef Schrempf edged out for the 3-point shooting title on the last weekend of the regular season by Chicago's Steve Kerr.
I don't tell anybody, but the Lakers are in a drought. They have not scored for some time, and they finally get it broken. 9:14 here, and they get their first point in the 3rd quarter.
Sonics have never led in this game. They trail by 2, 44-42.
Schrempf.
Gary Payton. Out of bounds to the Lakers.
Van Exel, even with the back spasms, is really the key. He's got to try to create some sort of penetration as he's trying to set up Eldon Campbell. He's got to be a threat to take the ball to the basket.
Divac, fouled by Schrempf.
Fouls on number 11, Detlef Schrempf, his second. It's the 3rd team foul.
Schrempf with his 2nd personal foul gets really drawn off of his feet and got pulled into that foul by Vlade Divac. Trying to post Eldon Campbell, who had a great start.
Campbell, got it. Eldon Campbell makes it a 4-point Laker lead, 46-42. Campbell has 11.
Now the way to hurt Campbell is to get the ball to Shawn Kemp. Let him try to draw that 4th foul, get him out of the ball game.
Shrimp on the drive, lost it over the basket and out of bounds to the Lakers. Sonics looking for a foul, it didn't come. Sabalos for three. Cedric Sabalos with another three-pointer. That's his third today. 17 points on the afternoon.
That shot has been the salvation for both teams. Sean Quick with a quick spin.
That's 4 on Eldon Campbell.
It's cheap, but it's effective. The ball comes in, and really he's too deep, and there's a push right there. Both hands in the back. Too easy for the official to call. Eldon got a little lazy. Now they need to come right back to Sean Kemp. Don't even fool around with it, and make sure that the defense reacts to him being posted against Eldon Campbell.
And the backcourt violation turns the ball over to the Lakers. Steve, we've seen more contact than that in the timeout zone.
We have, but, you know, the rule is no hands in the back. You can play with the bent arm, and you can't push. Well, he pushed right in front of the official. Made it too easy, too obvious for the official.
Maybe it wasn't a push so much as an exhale. Irvin Johnson touched it last. It'll be Laker basketball and Sam Bowie off the Laker bench.
So the post scoring goes out of the ball game. Sam Bowie is a center that likes to face the basket. He's not a turnaround jump shooter. He every now and then will come across with a jump hook, but he likes to face the basket.
And there's a foul inside, and we get a ticky-tack at this end. Nate McMillan commits his first.
Nate McMillan has a lot of fouls to give. He uses them almost in all of his ball games.
Van Exel, tough shot. Up ahead. Payton lost it out of bounds.
Pass was not quite enough in the air, and the outstretched hands of Sabalos threw Payton's concentration off. He should have still caught it to make a conversion.
7-point Laker lead, under 7.5 to play, third quarter. Lakers have led all the way. They trail 1-0 in this best-of-5 series. Bowie, quick inside pass, gets away from Divac. Here comes Detlef Schrempf. Payton. Johnson with the rebound, fouled from behind by Peeler. We've seen the intensity up just a little bit now.
Both teams know what's at stake. The Sonics do not want to leave home with a split. George Karl is aware of that. The Lakers know that they have a chance to get themselves back in the series, and with the psychological pressure that is on the shoulders of the Sonics to dispatch last year's loss, they would have a great advantage going back to Los Angeles.
Irvin Johnson at the free throw line, and there's another Irvin Johnson.
Oh, he's a lot happier today. He was blowing and walking and shaking his head in game 1 because the Lakers did not play smart, but they are playing a much smarter ball game here against the Suns.
49-44, Lakers by 5, under 7 to play here in the third. Sabalos taking it to Schrempf. Bowie. Kemp took it away. Johnson. And the Lakers come right back in a hurry. Three-point ball game. Van Exel kicks it back to Divac. Bowie pushed off. Let's go back to Sean Kemp's big defensive play.
Kemp is always looking to help out, and Sam Bowie really never realized where Kemp was. And then at the other end, Irvin Johnson beat everyone down the floor, gets his first hoop of the ball game, so he's got 4 points, all of them in a row.
Meanwhile, big turnaround in this game for Nick Van Exel. 29 points in game 1, just 5 this afternoon.
but he hasn't looked to score the basketball. In game one, because they were struggling, he really tried to make some things happen and took them on his shoulders. His back may be bothering him a little bit, but he looks content right now to distribute the basketball and nothing else.
17 points for Detlef Schrempf. The Sonics are within 1.
Payton is down in a crouch. He looks like a praying mantis, and he's waiting to pounce on Van Exel.
Van Exel gets the switch. And then an illegal defense call goes against Seattle. That's their second of the game, and it's a technical foul.
SuperSonics for a technical foul. Substitution for Los Angeles, number 25, Eddie Jones replaces
Eddie Jones replaces Anthony Peeler. There's Eddie. And Van Exel will shoot the free throw.
Eddie Jones brought his defense with him, hasn't been able to package his offense. He's really a terrific all-around player, and they'll need him to step up and make some shots here in the second half of play. Peeler down, and Peeler was off to a good start, but hasn't been able to reignite.
Lakers by 2. They have the ball. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the third. And look at Payton all over Van Exel.
You look at Payton. I mean, defense has been his strength, and he's the guy that energizes the Sonic defense. But Van Exel, Nick the Quick, got by.
That's a terrific basket by Van Exel. 52-48 Lakers. Payton. Van Exel got a hand on it. And Gary Payton pulls Seattle to within 2. Sabalo.
Schrempf asking for the ball against Eddie Jones. He feels he's got the height, the strength to make something happen, and they double team him off the ball.
Schrempf for 3. And the foul is on Irvin Johnson. Irvin Johnson appeared to be buried between 3 Lakers.
He ran in trying to get an offensive rebound. That's his 4th personal foul, and he grabbed onto the arm of Vlade Divac. Penalty situation, so Divac will come back to the line.
Vlade, a 78% free throw shooter during the regular season. Not a bad season for Vlade, was it?
Vlade really stepped up when Jones went down. Sabalos was out. He had games, 25 points, 24 rebounds to keep the Lakers winning. So he's elevated his game in a very dramatic way when a lot of people felt the only way that he could ever be a basketball player of note was to keep Magic Johnson out there yelling and screaming in his face.
Payton to the left hand. Overshoots. Sean Kemp with the foul. Lakers 53. Sonics 52. And a technical foul on Sean Kemp.
Well, you'll see the look. Now, Kemp goes up strong, and he turns around and gives a stare down, but that's not much. Pretty cheap. And Kemp is surprised. That's why he's got his hand behind his back, and he's trying to talk to Mike Mathis. And he said, I know taunting. I know taunting. I'm about to taunt you.
So now it's a 2-point Laker lead as we come up on 4.5 to play in the third. A little of everything in this game, too. Eddie Jones on the move. Nice shot by Jones. His first basket of the day. Lakers by 4. Sonic back in a hurry.
Perkins hurt them with 3-point shooting. They've run out and jumped at him, made it tough. Sean Kemp misses inside.
Good recovery. Perkins for 3. In and out. Out of bounds. Off of the Lakers. It'll be Seattle ball. Sam Perkins put up about as nice a shot as you can have that doesn't go in.
Smooth was smooth on that one. He thought he had it and was backing up, but he hasn't been able to dial in yet. They're going to give him another chance.
And now we have a stoppage of play again.
Now the Lakers unhappy with their defense, and Mike Mathis is over there talking to scorer's table.
A double foul has been called. First on number 40, Sean Kemp, his second, and also a foul on number 31, Sam Bowie, his fourth.
So Kemp and Bowie still bumping shoulders down here a little bit at this end of the floor. Double foul called on them. Lakers by 1. Coming up on 3:45 to play here in the third. Divac spins on his man and scores.
Nice quick spin, surprise Sam Perkins. Divac doesn't go baseline very often.
Kemp taken down by Bowie. That's 5 on Bowie.
You're going to get a flagrant foul on Sam Bowie trying to come over the top. Now, he made a play on the ball and got the ball. Del Harris was standing thumbs up, and they call a flagrant 2. Right at the end, he pulled them back, and that's what got the flagrant foul, and Kemp up in his face.
They had the double foul last trip down the floor and bumped shoulders a little bit as they waited for the next play to develop.
Not bad blood. I think Bowie's trying to establish himself inside of the defensive pressure. He knows that Kemp was going to throw that one down. What hurts him is, at the last, he pulled what looked like was a good block, or at least a situation where you wouldn't get a flagrant foul, into one.
He got the ball, but he also grabbed him by the shoulder and yanked him down. So now Seattle within 1 and has the basketball. Remember, the Sonics have never led in this game. 3.5 to play in the third. Payton. The Sonics with their first lead of the day at 59-58. Divac gets the lead right back for the Lakers.
And that's the Vlade Divac that carried him through a real tough stretch, stepping up his game. He really went hard and aggressively at Sam Perkins to get the hoop.
Tremp back outside for Perkins. Payton for 3. And the Sonics have the crowd into the game. Seattle by 2.
Kemp wants a double team. That means that the Lakers wide open if they get him the ball. Turns out to be Sabalos.
Sabalos comes up short. Divac has it and draws the foul. 2:29 to play in the third. The Sonics by 2. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
The Tacoma Dome, Hannah Storm, joined by a man who has a fistful of championship rings with the Lakers. Magic, how did the Lakers finish what they started here? Because the Sonics got their offensive confidence back.
Yeah, they got the crowd into it. We had taken the crowd out of the game, but I think we're all right because right now, 2:29 to go, we're only down 2, and hopefully Eldon Campbell can come back in the game in the fourth quarter and finish it out strong for us. Right now, we're giving them too many easy baskets. If we can cut those down, execute on offense, we're going to be all right.
All right, thanks a lot. Greg?
I think he's got a handle on the game.
He knows exactly what they have to do, and he would love to be down there helping them do it. I mean, this guy loves basketball. He loves to see the Lakers do well, and when they were playing poorly in game 1, he had on a black suit, and he was acting like a guy running a funeral parlor. He wanted to put them all in there and get a new team, but the real Lakers have shown this afternoon.
Vlade Divac at the line. We talked about Seattle's shooting woes in the first half. Divac Divac hits the first. They shot just 28% in the first half. They have hit 50% of their shots here in the third quarter and have out-rebounded the Lakers 8-3.
But it is a calmer, more composed Sonic team in the half court. In the last possession in which Gary Payton hit the three, they identified where the pressure was, made the extra pass. Payton had time to roll that ball around and get it up and down.
We are tied at 62. 2:20 to play here in the third. Perkins for three. 65-62 Seattle. Divac across court. Lynch fouled underneath.
Foul is on number 11, Detlef Schrempf.
Detlef Schrempf draws his third of the afternoon.
Nice extra pass, and the Sonics paid for the double team that time. See if George Lynch can convert at the line.
Into the game for Los Angeles. Anthony Peeler.
Wallace is headed to the locker room.
As soon as we know what the trouble with Pedro Ceballos is, we will fill you in. The other free throw goes down, 65-64, Seattle by 1, and 1:45 to play here in the third.
Now, big mismatch right here. Sean Kemp against George Lynch. They got to go to that, and then somebody's got to cut to the basket. They push him off the box, and they stay out on the perimeter against the clock.
Kemp with the turnaround. Sean Kemp has 18. Seattle's lead is 3. Divac. Peeler for 3. Got it. Anthony Peeler ties the game at 67. We have a minute to play in the third.
The three-point field goal has been the shot of the moment in the day for both teams, and a big shot where Anthony Peeler goes in. He needed that. He's been struggling.
Kemp fouled by Lynch, who complains that there was no call.
They get Sean Kemp going to the basket, and on the way up, George Lynch pulled him off the dunk. Can be no question of the foul there, but that's a matchup that Del Harris is not going to live with very long. He cannot get George Lynch to stay behind Sean Kemp and think that they're going to have any kind of success. Lynch either has to get around and try to front, or they have to get another player in.
Del Harris is not going to survive with George Lynch trying to guard Sean Kemp. Kemp puts Seattle up 69-67. Kemp has 20 on the day. Final moments of the third period. Peeler. Payton on the follow-up. Oh, what a shot by Gary Payton.
Now, Payton wanted that one all the way. Kendall Gill was wide open in front of him, and he had his mind on scoring and got a tough shot to go down. He's got 9 in the quarter.
Sonics by 4 as we come up on the last 10 seconds of the quarter. On the drive, Van Exel gets it to fall. And the steal, Van Exel puts it up out of the corner. It's short. Kendall Gill at the buzzer. What a comeback by the Seattle SuperSonics. Vlade Divac and Sean Kemp trying to show the way for their team. It's the Sonics by 2. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Trek Deep Space Nine, Saturday nights at 7.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Along with Steve Jones and Hannah Storm, I'm Greg Gumbel. Celebrity cameraman time here on NBC. Who is that? Steve Jones, it's Kramer.
You know, we got a lot of people here. Maybe we ought to give them something.
Michael Richards from the hit show Seinfeld. Mr. Kramer, to you, Steve.
All right, we'll get the game going. Just hold it down.
Well, that says it all right there. The fans are into it, and they want to see if their team can continue the momentum. Van Exel came up with a quick drive at the end to bring them 2 points closer. Let's see if he tries to stay in it at the offensive end.
We get the important people on that camera, don't we?
We know how to find him.
Campbell inside.
He is back, and he has not missed when he has been in the ball game down on the post. Ties the game up. Now, Greg, this game really favors the Lakers. The Lakers have won all of the close games. They won the first one by 1, the second one by 7.
Out of bounds. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Cedric Ceballos has just come back to the Lakers bench. It seems that he has an upset stomach. We mentioned earlier a bunch of these guys have had the flu, but trainer Gary Beatty thinks it was nerves. They gave him a pill to calm his stomach down, and now he's back and ready to go in the game, Greg.
All right, Hannah, looks like Cedric just gave Coach Del Harris a thumbs up. Tied at 71.
That'll be some fast-acting medication because they need him back out on the floor. Shot clock at 5.
Van Exel out of the corner. Oh, what a shot by Nick Van Exel.
So that's a Van Exel special. Under pressure, off balance, he's going to make those. You give him wide open shots, he's not nearly as good. Eddie Jones picks up the foul.
Over the top. Let's go back to Nick Van Exel.
Why is Van Exel such a cocky guy? Because I can make these shots. Nobody else makes those shots.
The coach will take those as they fall. 73-71 Lakers. Perkins steps inside the 3, misses the 2, rebound to D-Box. Up ahead to Van Exel, 2-on-1, he takes it right at his man, and it's an offensive foul. Detlef Schrempf stood his ground, took the charge, and will come the other way.
Van Exel led with his foot and got it right in the body of Detlef Schrempf. Bold by Schrempf just to stand in.
3 personals on Nick Van Exel.
Trying to go to Askew against Eddie Jones, but Askew has not been a finisher down at the bucket.
Kendall Gill open for 3, in and out. And Van Exel picks it up and draws the foul. Foul is on Askew.
You know, Van Exel reminds me a lot in big game temperament of Dennis Johnson. Not a great percentage shooter, but when the game gets close, this guy makes big plays. He makes drives or passes or shots, but he really relishes it when the game is on the line. Oh, Peeler was wide open. Shot clock at 5.
Peeler making Anthony Peeler with another 3, and it's a 5-point Laker lead.
But to finish the thought about close games, they won the 3rd meeting by 6 and the 4th one by 3. So they win close games against the Sonics, and they know that if it stays close, they have an edge.
Cross court to Gill, he traveled.
The composure that the Sonics had in the 3rd quarter has evaporated. George Karl's got to generate it all over again.
5-point Laker lead, 9:29 to play in the game.
Shaq, Sir Charles, and Michael, a blockbuster triple header Sunday on NBC.
Tostitos, you make the call. This part of your pass is Tostitos tortilla chips without Tostitos salsa. Is this an incomplete pass or illegal procedure? If you said incomplete pass, you made the right call because the party's not complete without Tostitos salsa.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes us back 1 year to Seattle's stunning upset loss to number 8 seed Denver. The celebration of Dikembe Mutombo is the lasting image of those playoffs, one that still haunts George Karl.
Hate it. Absolutely wish NBC would. If you have a price, I'll buy it from you. What's the price, gentlemen?
In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. And George Karl is willing to joke about it a little bit, but the memories from that loss are very real.
Oh, they're very real, and that's the pressure that's on this team. And right now, they sense it even more that if the Lakers continue to control the fourth quarter of play, they go to Los Angeles down 1-1, and that's not a happy prospect for George Karl.
5-point Laker lead.
The Lakers right now, sharp and crisp, and they are attacking where they know they can hurt the Sonics, and that's with Eldon Campbell against Detlef Schrempf.
Eldon Campbell had himself a good look at the basket, just came up short. 9 minutes to play.
Plenty of time for the Sonics, and they've got to come back and let Sam Perkins get into the game and make some plays for some other people.
Shot clock winding down. Schrempf has to put it up, and Campbell got a hand on it, and that's a shot clock violation. Good defense from Eldon Campbell.
Crowd trying to help Detlef Schrempf, but every team has a color: red, green, go, something. The crowd counted it down, but Schrempf couldn't hear, and against the pressure of the clock and the defense, they get nothing.
Turnovers are equal at 11 aside.
Turnovers haven't been as bad in Game 2 as they were in Game 1. 19 and 20, respectively, for the Sonics and the Lakers.
Divac. Around and out, and here come the Sonics. 4 on 3. Payton snakes his way inside, won't get the ball, and Divac has the rebound. The shots that were falling for Seattle Thursday night have been a little tougher to come by this afternoon.
Now, both teams defensively have responded. Both teams have also succumbed to the pressure of the moment. Right now, it's Peeler bringing them back. Made a couple of big three-point shots. Missed that one. Now, Schrempf's got a mismatch against Eddie Jones, but they don't seem to want to go in that direction.
Askew. Perkins has the loose ball. Payton for 3. Kept out of bounds by Campbell.
Big play by Campbell. Schrempf was inside, had a chance to tip it in, and Campbell just knocked it out of bounds.
Seattle and George Karl want timeout. About 7.5 to play. 5-point Laker lead. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
C is brought to you by Jeep, makers of Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler. By Network MCI Business. Install it in your office today. And by Sprite. Image is nothing. Thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite.
Greg Gumbel, Steve Jones, Hannah Storm, welcome back to the Tacoma Dome. The Lakers lead by 5, but the Seattle crowd trying to inspire their Sonics, who have been firing blanks here in the fourth quarter. Cedric Ceballos back onto the floor. Remember, Hannah Storm reported victimized by an upset stomach, left the bench for a little while, and is now returned to action.
4 minutes, 30-plus seconds have gone by without the Sonics getting a hoop, coming back to Payton. But the guy that they need to get the ball to is Detlef Schrempf. Schrempf has got a mismatch, and they've got to take advantage of that. He was being guarded out on the perimeter by Vlade Divac. He can go by Divac on the dribble.
Payton back outside. McMillan. Seattle Seattle still hasn't scored in the quarter.
Shrimp against Sabalos. See if they get Shrimp the ball. They've been going to Peyton, and they're doubling him, so they're keeping the ball out of Peyton's hand down on the box.
Shrimp finally gets a shot away. No, tapped up and in by Nate McMillan. First basket of the fourth quarter for Seattle, and they trail by 3.
See if that tip gives the defense of the Sonics a little bit more life. But the Lakers have been very controlled and poised here in the fourth quarter of play, trying to go inside to Eldon Campbell.
Sabalos fouled before he got the pass away.
When you're struggling, you'll take any score. Shrimp got a good look at it, but Nate McMillan, first off of his feet, got the tap in. They went 5 minutes and change before they scored in the fourth quarter of play. The best news for George Karl's team is they're only down 3 on the scoreboard.
Sam Perkins draws his second. Sabalos going to put it up and hit. Cedric Sabalos having himself a superb day. 78-73 Lakers. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the game.
Now remember who's guarding who out there. Now Perkins has Sabalos on his back. They go inside, couldn't finish.
And this one's going to go against the Lakers. Let's go back to the other end.
Sabalos on the post and gets the ball, and what he likes to do is turn and face. Where he's improved his game is that shot right there. He sees it go in on a regular basis. When they come up, he drives the ball to the basket.
Sabalos called for his second personal. Shrimp on the baseline. Campbell with the rebound.
2 good looks for Shrimp, so he's got to get himself started all over again. But they got to go to Shrimp, Kemp for the rest of this quarter, along with Sam Perkins.
5.5 to play. And Perkins almost came up with steal.
Seven on the shot clock.
That one's on McMillan out front.
What the Sonics can't take, and could be the backbreaker for George Karl, is early penalty calls. That's the 3rd team foul, second against Nate McMillan. But the Sonics are not moving their feet right now. They're reaching, holding, grabbing, coming back to Campbell.
Eddie Jones back outside. Sabalos got it. Third three-pointer of the afternoon for Cedric Sabalos. He has 22, and it's an 81-73 lead for the Lakers. And that one's on Seattle.
The Lakers are playing with a lot of control and poise. Sabalos, whatever that medicine was the right time, because he's come back in, made 2 shots. They pushed the lead, and it is now an 8-point ball game.
Boy, the Lakers shooting 50% from behind the 3-point line. Under 5 minutes to play. The Lakers, the second most improved team in the NBA. Only Dallas turned it around more this season than the Lakers have, with 33 more victories during the regular season.
Good play by the Lakers, even though Sam Perkins made a nice defensive reaction. They went into the post and reestablished. Vlade didn't like it, threw it back out. They got it back in there one more time. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Out of the corner. Eddie Jones couldn't get it to fall. Divac has it, and the Lakers have the ball.
Now the Sonics have time, plenty of time to get back in the ball game. They got to do a better job after the misses of rebounding. The Lakers are going to try to keep the pressure on inside. Eddie Jones kept that alive, tried to call a timeout.
Didn't work. It's the Sonics basketball with 4:17 to play. Seattle trails 81-73. Kemp. Tied up? No. Foul by Divac. That's 4 on Vlade Divac.
Sometimes Kemp isn't ready to go right up, and this is one of those times. He caught the ball and then had to gather him. Put a power surge. Now, this is what George Karl needed. He needed something to break the momentum. Now, this is really home court advantage. You can't have better timing than this. Now you get a break. The lights are down here at the Tacoma Dome.
Well, there have been some cloudy days in the Seattle area, but this beats them all.
This is not, you know, in terms of playing in a totally dark arena, players used to play like this when they grew up.
Sure.
You had to sneak in, couldn't turn the lights on, but now they want all of the lights on, so we've got a break in the action, and Del Harris is going to try to keep his team focused with this final 4:11.
We got him. Stay focused, baby. Stay focused.
Well, some emergency lights have gone upstairs.
Well, the playoffs, we've seen a lot of strange things, but have never been in a playoff where the lights break down for the home team.
It gives lights out a whole new meaning in postseason, doesn't it? We'll be back.
You're watching the
Back at a darkened Tacoma Dome. Greg Gumbel, Steve Jones, Hannah Storm. 81-73 play has been halted as the main lighting system has failed. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Greg, the problem is the entire city of Tacoma, the entire grid that we're on right here, has had a power surge. So lights are not only out in this stadium, but everywhere, all over Tacoma. They have to let these lights cool down. They don't have any other lights more available than the ones that you see now. In other words, they have no backup generator, no backup lighting that would be sufficient to play basketball. What they have to do is wait for the main lights here, which have gone out, to cool down. That'll be 5 minutes, maybe as long as 10 minutes before those can be turned on again and we can resume play here at the Tacoma Dome, Greg.
All right, Hannah, Steve, if you would just take your foot off of this plug right here, we'd probably be okay. You know, it's really interesting that, as you say, though, it might have been a blessing in disguise for the Seattle SuperSonics, who were looking to break a little momentum from the Lakers. 4:11 to play. The Lakers hold an 81-73 lead, and while we wait for the light to hit us once again, let's go back to New York and Bob Costas. Bob?
All right, Greg, thanks very much. The Tacoma Dome, remember, the temporary home of the Sonics, the Seattle Coliseum being renovated. They'll be back in there next year, and some problems with the power, but apparently they're on their way to restoring it, but we may be here for a few moments. The score here, 81-73 in favor of the Lakers, as they try to do what the Cavs did earlier today. After losing the first game and losing it badly, Cleveland came back at New York and won today, 90-84, so that series is now even at 1 apiece, and games 3 and 4 are scheduled for Cleveland, where, by the way, they played twice during the regular season, and the Knicks won both of those regular season games. So the Lakers, once the game you're watching resumes, will try to do what the Cavs accomplished earlier today. Now, remember when you were a kid and there would be a rain delay in a baseball game, and they'd play a thing called rain delay theater? This is the NBA version of this. My friends, we've been saving this for more than a year, and it's well worth it. At the All-Star game in Minneapolis, no, not this year, but last year, I sat down and had a conversation with Kevin McHale. And McHale, as you know, is never at a loss for an opinion. So let's pick up at the point in the conversation where I asked him to evaluate the great Chicago Bulls team that won 3 consecutive championships. Remember, as we have this conversation, we're thinking that Michael Jordan's career likely is over, and so it's over in terms of the legacy of that Chicago Bull team. So I asked Kevin McHale to evaluate it. Roll it. The Chicago Bulls of the last 3 years, with Michael at his peak, winning 3 straight championships, if that team had played in the mid-'80s with Dr. J's 76ers, your Celtics, Magic, and Kareem's Lakers, do you think they would have won a title?
No, they wouldn't have got the Eastern Conference. They wouldn't have been able to beat us or Philly to get out of the Eastern Conference. And I'm not bragging. I just don't think they can. I mean, I just don't see how they could guard Larry, Robert, myself, Bill Walton, Danny, DJ, Scott. I mean, that was a good team, and they didn't have enough people to handle that. Whereas, granted, we had nobody who could guard Michael. No one could guard Michael. But, Scotty's a great player. Scotty would have to match up against Larry. And Larry in his prime against Scotty in his prime, I don't know. I like Larry. And I know they had no one to guard Robert or I. And so I don't think that they could have beaten us. And that's just my personal opinion. It'll never happen. We'll never know. We'll be 75-year-old men having the same discussion. But that's what makes basketball great. You'll never know. And in my mind, no, I don't think they could. I don't think they had what it took from 3 till 7. And as we did from 3 till 7. Our players were better in there.
The Celtics of your era won 3 championships, but might have won a half dozen.
if we could get rid of Magic and the Lakers. Yeah, some things happen. We had a few injuries, but that's part of the game. And we kept bumping heads against the Lakers, and they bumped heads against us. And I think either one of those teams had those teams been assembled later, and like say our Celtics team was assembled now, I think the Lakers would have had a big run through the 80s. They probably would have won 3 or 4 in a row maybe. And then I think that Celtics team that was assembled now would go on a run and win. But what made that great and what made basketball great was Magic and Larry. Was the fact that you had Magic on the West Coast, LA, Hollywood, glitz and glamour. You had Larry on the East Coast in the time when the East Coast was really struggling. A lot of people were getting laid off. You had the blue-collar Celtics, a bunch of guys that kind of looked like grunges. Our uniforms looked bad. We took pride in the fact that they were all just nasty-looking uniforms, basic and plain.
Creaky old building.
Exactly, old nasty building, no air conditioning, 100 degrees in there. And so you had both sides of the country, and either you liked, and that was great. I mean, I thought that's what brought basketball up to this level that it's at right now, Magic and Larry, and their respective teams. And we had some great players on our Celtics teams, but it was Larry's team, and we all followed him and fed off his energy. And the same thing with the same thing with the Lakers. As good as Kareem was, they all fed off Magic's energy.
This is another one where we might be getting into the area almost of heresy. Nobody denies that Michael Jordan is one of the greatest athletes in the history of the planet. You can make a great case for him, maybe a convincing case, as the best basketball player. That was taped a little bit more than a year ago at the All-Star game in Minneapolis, before Michael Jordan's return, before Scottie Pippen, in Michael's absence a year ago, established himself as a truly great player. When we talked about the supporting cast, Kukoc wasn't there then. It's a much different situation now. But he made the point that Larry and Magic, in his opinion, would have a greater effect on winning basketball games than Michael Jordan. Who wants to react?
Probably some player who played against Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson.
So you would be our candidate here, I'm guessing. You would be the guy, yeah.
Be the guy, and since they're all younger than me, I try to reverse it around and say, well, they all played against me, And Kevin did mention our 76er team in there as being a factor in the 80s, and I think our run was basically from 1977 to 1983, in which we went to the finals 4 times. And granted, we only won once and lost 3 times. It was still significant in terms of the history of basketball in the 80s. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird certainly were the 2 most promoted marquee stars of the 80s, and I think they did. There is a fact that they lifted the level of appreciation from the fan standpoint, the media standpoint of the game, because of their ability to pass the ball and get other players involved.
Pete. He says that the 86 team was the best. I think the 84 team was the best. I think it was the best front court that ever played the game, because you had Cedric Maxwell in that mix, who carried the team to a championship. You put him versus Bill Walton, who was on the 86 team as a 6th man. Bill, many people don't know this, Bill won the 6th man because he was the 6th man off the bench to say, "Great game, Larry."
Let me pose this very, very quickly. There's no doubt now that more teams have a crack at winning the title than ever before. At least 8 with a legitimate shot, probably 10 that think they have a shot. That was never the case during the 80s. But you would agree, I think, with Mikhail, that the very best teams then, whether it was your Sixers or his Celtics or Magic's Lakers, the very best teams then were better than anybody today. Yes?
Well, I think you're comparing different eras, and it's very difficult to do that and compare players of various eras. I think, today you have 8 teams, and their star players are veteran players. You have 2 of those 8 teams who have young talent as being, their best players. So with different eras, it's very difficult for me to make a comparison.
So you're saying to yourselves, if you've just tuned in, why are they just sitting here talking? Didn't I expect to see a game? 4 minutes and 11 seconds to play in the 4th quarter at the Tacoma Dome. The Lakers 81 and the Sonics 73. And a power failure. We're hoping they'll get it fixed soon. Let's go back to Greg Gumbel in Seattle, actually in Tacoma, to find out how they're doing. Greg?
All right, Bob, we have not yet seen the light, but we're promised that it's coming. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Well, I'm with the Celtics Vice President of Basketball Operations, Rob Martin. Rob, do you know exactly what happened here?
The information I'm being told right now, Hannah, is that there's a 5-block radius that the Tacoma Dome sits on as far as an electrical grid in the city. There was a slight power surge, which knocked out our lights temporarily, but when we lost the power to our lights, they're the type of lights that take a few minutes to cool down once they're at full heat or full speed. Once they cool down, they will restrike. There is power to the lights right now, and we are beginning to see them come back on.
Yeah, at what point will the lights be at full strength? 'Cause it's been 5, 6, 7 minutes now.
Yeah, when they're at full strength and they've been on for a number of hours like they had been, it takes them probably a good 10 minutes to cool down, then probably another 5 or 10 minutes for them to come back up to full power.
You guys are moving to the Key Arena next year. Going to have a backup generator there now?
We're going to call in a backup generator for the next game.
All right, thanks, Greg.
All right, Hannah, you know, this can only bode well for the Seattle SuperSonics, who had a 1 for 15 shooting string in the second quarter and were 1 out of 12 when the lights went out. This gives new meaning to the term shooting the lights out, doesn't it?
It does, and it's a divine intervention, the kind of thing that George Karl was looking for. You look at what kind of business they were doing in the fourth quarter. They were on their way to losing the ball game. Both teams now, have cooled down. The confidence certainly maybe coming back to Seattle because now they realize what they can do to get back in the game. The Lakers know if they can stay focused, they can win this game.
Lakers had outscored Seattle 12-2 here in the fourth quarter. Still 4:11 to play. Just a moment or two ago, Hannah had a chance to talk with Vlade Divac of the Lakers.
Vlade, what effect, if any, does this have on the game? You guys definitely had some momentum before this power surge break.
Well, they stopped at the momentum. What we have to do, is keep going. The last 4 minutes we're up 8. That's our, we have a game in our hands, so we have to just, play like we played all game.
What's the best thing to do in the interim? I just see a lot of guys shooting around, trying to keep warm.
It's really bad if you stay on a bench. You have to walk around and take a lot of shots.
You guys were playing with basically 8 guys. Is this a good chance to rest? Can you look at it in a positive way?
Yeah, I know, but we had that momentum, and now at 4 minutes left, I think they did this on purpose. That's a home court advantage.
Okay, a little skepticism here. All right, Vlade, good luck in the remainder of the game when it gets started, Greg.
Home court advantage indeed, and we are just beginning to see the lights come back. We'll take this moment to remind you tonight, starting at 8/7 Central Time, there's a double wedding on the special 1-hour series finale of Empty Nest, and then it's the special 2-hour season finale of Sisters. Great night of TV tonight, beginning at 8/7 Central here on NBC. The sun seems to be coming up here in Tacoma, Washington. 4:11 remaining, 81-73 Lakers, and we'll be back.
This is the tale of one Todd Mitchell. Todd was one large citizen with an appetite to match.
Fourth quarter, and they've had a lead. Seattle has only scored 2 points in almost 8 minutes of play, so they needed a break of some sort, and now George Karl maybe can reassemble his team knowing that in a 4-minute stretch, 8 points down is not much.
By the way, do you have that airline guide with you?
Well, I've been on the shuttle back and forth between Phoenix and Seattle. I think we'll be all right.
The big difference in the Lakers today, they are 9 of 18 in three-point shots. In game 1, they were 4 for 28.
Made field goals has been the biggest difference, and it really, the three-point shot has been the shot of the day for both teams. When the Sonics were down, they got some timely three-point shooting from Perkins and Payton and Shrimp, and then it's been Sabalas just wearing things out from the outside along with Divac. But they want to get Eldon Campbell back into this game and dominate the closing moments.
Well, the officials are saying that there is not enough lighting to resume. There are some lights across the way that have not been turned on.
Well, the lights that face the basket, they're never turned on. Their situation exists on both sides, and I think the reason that those lights have never been turned on, they come right into the eyes of the players.
Oh, we're going to play, or are we?
Well, let's remember, whose ball was it anyway? 22 minutes ago.
I don't even remember what day it is.
Divac's fourth, the third team foul.
We are reminded that Vlade Divac was guilty of a foul, his fourth, and Sean Kemp goes to the line. Again, Seattle in the middle of another cold streak. A 24-minute delay comes to an end right now. Seattle has hit 1 of 12 from the floor here in the fourth. They went through a 1 for 15 cold spell in the second. Kemp gets 2.
Best news, they're only down 6. Plenty of time in the ball game to see if the Sonics got some rest and their defense really amps it up.
Oh, it's nice to be playing ball again, isn't it? Eldon Campbell with the double team, kicks it back. Ceballos fakes the 3, tries to flip to Divac. Shot clock is at 4. Double team, he's going to have to throw it up and does, and it's out of bounds to Seattle. That's a shot clock violation.
You know, coaches have a lot of stories to tell, but if Dale Harris loses this one, this goes right at the front of the worst things that ever happened to me during my coaching career.
Look at the Seattle crowd. On their feet with 3:35 to play.
Shrimp against Ceballos.
Perkins. Kemp had it and lost it, but McMillan recovers. Perkins on the move. Magic, and right in front of him, Mitch Kupchak of the Lakers. 4-point Laker lead, 3:10 to play.
And sometimes the most difficult thing is to get the momentum back. They had this crowd out of the ball game and really concerned, and right now the Sonics realize they have a golden chance to change how this game has gone. Sam Perkins missed the 3 and then came hard to the rim.
And Del Harris doesn't like the way things have turned around. He's called a timeout. 81-77 Lakers, 3 minutes on the nose remaining in regulation.
Both teams,
the guilty party, and that's 4.
Both teams team penalty situation on the next foul. They both have 4. Del Harris trying to calm his team down. They need a score.
Who's going to calm down Magic and Mitch Kupchak up there?
They can't take it. I mean, you know, they've never been in a situation like this. But Peeler's in the game. If he makes a hoop, that takes all the pressure off of the Lakers.
A minute 20 to play. Divac. Ceballos for 3. Big shot by Cedric Ceballos. 25 points for Cedric Ceballos. And Seattle calls time with a minute 11 to play. Ceballos, 6 out of 9 from 3-point land today. 84-79 Lakers.
You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Sure. Take 23 north to M33 west to I-14 south, and you're there.
Thanks.
You bet.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Head right over those mountains.
Thanks.
Dad?
Yeah?
There's something I want to tell you.
What is it, son?
Well, Dad, you're my dad. And I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Ray, forget it, Johnny.
It took 3 minutes for the Los Angeles Lakers to score, but it couldn't have come at a better time and from a better distance. A 3-point field goal, and Ceballos pointing to the bosses and saying, "This 3's for you." And Mitch now says the pressure is off and it's on the Lakers. Which team has been the best in close games? The guys in purple. The Lakers have won all of the close games. Now the pressure comes back to the Sonics. They've got to have a score with this possession.
Ceballos has scored the last 8 Laker points. We come up on 65 seconds remaining in regulation. Perkins for 3. Perkins has 11, 84, 82, 1 minute to play.
Can't take it. He's going for a walk. Magic knows this is the biggest possession of the ball game as they come inside to Eldon Campbell.
Campbell, short. Seconds. Shrimp for three. And Perkins may have gotten away with an over the back.
Well, the Sonics can get the ball back. Difference between shot clock and game clock is about 11 seconds, so they got to play good defense. Make the Lakers take a tough shot and rebound the basketball.
Ceballos taken away by McMillan.
This is the tale of one Todd Mitchell. Todd was one large citizen with an appetite to match. He'd heard the new light burrito supreme at Taco Bell weighed more than a Big Mac, yet had only 8 grams of fat instead of the Big Mac's 26. But how would it taste? It tasted good, real good. Where'd the fat go?
And don't forget, Taco Bell has new Border Light tacos starting at just 69 cents. Great tasting new tacos with just 5 grams of fat starting at 69 cents.
Do not become a cynic.
To Goat in all of 1 minute. Ceballos made the three-pointer and then the turnover, and the pain goes all the way into the stands.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
And onto the bench with Del Harris. But the Lakers have still been the better team in close games. They have been lucky. They have been opportunistic. We'll see if their luck still holds.
Lakers by 2. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Sonics with 1 and a 20. 10.5 seconds to play.
Sonics got to give themselves 2 chances to tie the ball game up. They cannot fool around with the shot and game clock going down like crazy.
Long range, off the mark, and it's over. It is over. The Lakers have tied the series in a game apiece.
Score, Los Angeles 84, Seattle 82.
About a ball game with a little of everything.
The crowd is stunned, but they took too much time to get the shot in the air, and Nate McMillan is not a prime-time clutch player to be shooting in that situation. They can't get a timeout, and Del Harris knows I'm still lucky, and it's better to be lucky than good.
84-82 from the stands. Magic and Mitch Kupchak says we come into Seattle and we take one. Cedric Ceballos comes up big in game 2. He's standing by with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Cedric, your performance in this team just epitomized the tenacity of the Lakers, not just coming back from that devastating defeat in game 1, but coming back after the momentum was in your favor and the lights went out. What happened in the interim there?
Well, that was kind of tough for us, but we got warmed up within the first minute of that 4-minute period of playing, and after that we got things going a little bit. Sonics missed some shots. We canned some. I knocked down a 3, so we just, our momentum just kept going with it.
You came up with some huge shots after the lights went out. Now, I know you were sick in the game. In the third quarter, you even left the game. Did that interim period help you?
Well, it did help me a lot, but I really wasn't worried about the illness. Yesterday, I called my big brother and asked him, what should I do? He just said, just keep playing, keep digging in there, and play hard as you can, and it worked tonight.
This is such an emotional win for you. How devastating do you think it could be for the Sonics? You're facing such pressure to get out of this first round.
Well, it's tough, and I think we took care of business here in Seattle. We have to go home and do the same.
All right, Cedric, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, Greg.
All right, Hannah, once again, our final score, the Lakers 84 and the Seattle SuperSonics 82. Stay with NBC tonight, starting at 8/7 Central Time. There's a double wedding on the special 1-hour series finale of Empty Nest. Then it's the special 2-hour season finale of Sisters. A great night of TV tonight, starting at 8/7 Central on NBC. Don't forget the NBA playoffs continue on NBC tomorrow with a triple header beginning at 12 noon with NBA Showtime. For Steve Jones and Hannah Storm, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from Tacoma. This is the NBA on NBC.
Where America turns for the best in sports television. NBC Sports.